Welcome to our channel Modern Family Wisdom that offers well-researched, science-backed solutions to day-to-day family issues.
You looked down and your stool was green, not a mild olive tint, green, unmistakably green. And here's the thing, you did not eat anything green. No green leafy vegetables, no cucumber, no salad, nothing, not a single green food in the past 24 hours. So where is this color coming from? This is one of the most rapidly rising health questions being searched across India right now. Why is my poop green when I did not eat anything green? And the answer lies not in what you ate, but in what your body is producing on its own every single day, without you even knowing it. Here is something most people never learn. Your stool is not brown because of the food you eat. It is brown because of a chemical process running inside you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, driven entirely by your liver. Every single day, your liver dismantles old, worn-out red blood cells. These cells have a lifespan of about 120 days, and when they die, your liver breaks them down. During this process, the iron-carrying molecule inside them, called heme, is converted by an enzyme called heme oxygenase into a pigment called biliverdin. The word biliverdin comes from bili, meaning bile, and verde, the Latin word for green. Biliverdin is, by its very nature, a bright, vivid green pigment. Your liver is making green pigment right now as you listen to this. This biliverdin is then chemically reduced into a second pigment called bilirubin, yellow-orange in color. Bilirubin is packaged into bile, a digestive fluid produced continuously by your liver, stored in your gallbladder, a small pear-shaped pouch sitting just beneath the liver, and released into your small intestine every time you eat. As this yellow-green bile travels through the small intestine and enters the colon, your large intestine, billions of anaerobic bacteria get to work. These bacteria convert bilirubin through several steps into colorless compounds called urobilinogens, and finally into a brown pigmented molecule called stercobilin. That is what makes healthy stool brown. This entire journey from green biliverdin in your liver to brown stercobilin in your toilet normally takes 36 to 72 hours. But if anything disrupts or rushes that journey, the stool exits while still green, not because of food, because your own bile never finished transforming. So now, let us answer the exact question directly. Why is your poop green even though you ate absolutely nothing green? The answer comes down to one word: transit time. That is the amount of time it takes for bile to travel from your liver through your intestines and out. When transit time is normal, the bacteria in your colon have enough hours to convert green biliverdin all the way to brown stercobilin. When transit time is cut short, when things move through too fast, the stool exits before that color conversion is complete. Your stool is green not because of what you ate. It is green because your colon ran out of time. This accelerated movement is called intestinal hypermotility, the gut contracting and pushing content forward far faster than it should. The first reason this happens is infection. Even a mild stomach bug caused by bacteria like Salmonella or Escherichia coli or viruses like norovirus can inflame your intestinal lining and trigger emergency evacuation reflexes through your enteric nervous system, which is the network of over 500 million nerve cells embedded in your gut wall. Your gut forcefully pushes everything through within hours, not days. Bile never gets processed. The stool comes out green, watery, and runny. This is why green poop and diarrhea appear together so often. They share the same root cause, which is speed. The second reason is stress and anxiety. Your enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, responds directly to emotional states. Chronic stress or sudden anxiety can trigger this system to dramatically accelerate peristalsis, the wave-like muscular contractions that move stool forward. The result is bright or dark green stool, even on days when your diet was completely normal and contained nothing green whatsoever. The third reason is a condition called bile acid malabsorption, commonly abbreviated as BAM. In a healthy gut, approximately 95% of bile acids produced by your liver are reabsorbed in the final stretch of the small intestine, a region called the terminal ileum, and recycled back to the liver in a loop called enterohepatic circulation, meaning the bile goes around and around between the gut and the liver. When this recycling fails, when bile acids escape into the colon instead of being reabsorbed, they behave like powerful laxatives. They pull water into the bowel, stimulate rapid muscular contractions, and produce urgent, watery, bright green or yellow-green diarrhea. And critically, the person experiencing this has eaten nothing green. The green is entirely from their own unprocessed bile. Research shows that up to 33% of people suffering from chronic, unexplained diarrhea may have undiagnosed bile acid malabsorption. The fourth reason is antibiotics. If you have recently taken a course of broad-spectrum antibiotics, drugs commonly prescribed for chest infections, urinary tract infections, or dental procedures, those antibiotics may have decimated the bacteria living in your colon. Remember, brown stool requires bacteria to complete the conversion of bile pigments. No bacteria means no conversion. Biliverdin and bilirubin pass through unchanged, and the stool exits brine. This is called antibiotic-induced dysbiosis, a disruption of your gut's microbial community, and it's one of the most common, reversible, and reassuring explanations for green stool with no green food intake. The fifth reason surprises most people. If you consumed something with an artificial blue dye, a sports drink, a blue-colored dessert, a purple-tinted soda, or a dark berry-flavored candy, that blue dye, specifically known as FD&C Blue No. 1 or Brilliant Blue FCF, passes through your gut largely undigested. As it mixes with your naturally yellow-green bile in the duodenum, the first section of the small intestine, the subtractive mixing of blue and yellow produces green. Your stool is green, you ate no green food, but you consumed blue dye and your own bile did the rest. Now, let's talk about green poop in babies, because this is one of the fastest rising concerns among Indian parents right now. In newborns, the very first stool is called meconium, dark, tarry, greenish-black, made entirely of amniotic fluid, intestinal secretions, and shed gut lining cells that accumulated during pregnancy. It's completely normal and resolves within the first 48 hours of life. In breastfed infants beyond the newborn stage, persistent green, frothy, runny poop often signals what is called a foremilk-hind milk imbalance. Foremilk, released at the beginning of a feed, is watery and high in lactose. Hind milk, released later in the same feed, is fat-rich and calorie-dense. When a baby feeds in short bursts across both breasts without fully draining either, they consume excess foremilk. This watery, lactose-heavy milk transits the gut rapidly, producing loose, bright green stools. The correction is simple. Allow the baby to fully drain one breast before switching to the other. For toddlers, dark green poop is frequently triggered by blueberries, grape juice, or artificial food coloring in snacks. But if a toddler's poop is persistently dark green and accompanied by stomach pain, fever, or diarrhea that doesn't resolve, a pediatric evaluation is necessary. Beyond infections and transit issues, what you're taking, not eating, can also turn stool green. Iron supplements, commonly prescribed for iron deficiency anemia, frequently produce dark green or black-green stools. Unabsorbed iron reacts with biopigments and hydrogen sulfide in the colon, creating a dark compound that is harmless and expected. Bismuth sulsilicate, the active compound in many common antacid preparations, reacts with trace sulfur in the gut to form bismuth sulfide, a black pigment that when mixed with yellow-green bile produces a dark, sludgy green stool. Broad-spectrum antibiotics, as discussed, wipe out the bacteria responsible for browning, and motility-altering drugs like indomethacin, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, can accelerate intestinal transit directly, producing transient green stool through a mechanism entirely separate from diet. One more systemic cause worth knowing about is hyperthyroidism, the overproduction of thyroid hormones by an overactive thyroid gland. These hormones accelerate the body's entire metabolic rate, including the speed of intestinal contractions. People with undiagnosed hyperthyroidism frequently experience chronic green or yellow-green watery diarrhea, accompanied by unexplained weight loss, a racing heartbeat, and heat sensitivity. If your green poop is persistent and you also feel unusually hot, anxious, or notice your heart racing, a thyroid-stimulating hormone blood test, commonly called a TSH test, is worth requesting. Most green stool resolves on its own within 1 to 3 days, but seek medical attention if it is accompanied by severe stomach cramps that don't ease, if it persists beyond 3 days without a clear explanation, if it occurs alongside unexplained weight loss or heart palpitations, or if there is any blood mixed into the stool, which is an entirely separate and urgent concern requiring immediate evaluation. Green stool is your gut's way of showing you its internal clock. When that clock is rushed by a virus, by stress, by antibiotics, by bile acid overflow, or by a thyroid running too fast, the stool exits before it finishes turning brown. It has nothing to do with green food. It has everything to do with the chemistry of bile.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Visit again.